The Elimu Bora Working Group, which brings together civil society organizations agitating for sectoral reforms, has raised concerns over the proposed decategorization of secondary schools and removal of compulsory subjects. The group has criticized the move, saying the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms has failed to conduct public participation.
We have witnessed through State House press releases the launch of new TVET and university funding model. We have witnessed the scrapping of categorization of secondary schools, the reduction of subjects for the junior secondary schools, and the transition of Kenya National Exam Council to the Kenya National Assessment Center. Further query on the status of the main report have, however, not borne fruits.
The group has called for an urgent review of the transition to junior secondary schools to resolve underfunding and ensure access to quality education for all students.
The Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms needs to officially release report for public consultation. Continuing to undertake piecemeal releases of the report smells of mischief and bad faith. We urge the President to cause the release forthwith of the final report and other interim reports that the team has produced so far as advisories to the President on the subject matter and help guide education in Kenya.
Hadija, please come and welcome.
This comes as education stakeholders raise concerns over life skills deficits among students. According to a recent assessment conducted by the Regional Education Learning Initiative, adolescents across the East African region exhibit lower than average levels of life skills.
Our adolescents that we assessed were aged between 13 and 17 years. They have begun the journey to where they need to be. But a majority of them, more than 85%, are not where they need to be. So only a few of them, around 15%, are.
The study, which assessed 45,442 school-going children aged 13 to 17 in Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda and Zanzibar, showed that 33% cannot recognize problems or identify potential solutions, while 37% lack insight into how their emotions impact their behavior and others' feelings. Education stakeholders attribute the deficits to different causes. Duncan Quintet, a first-year communication student at Uzuri Institute, says that the inadequacy of life skills training in learning institutions leaves children unprepared to tackle life challenges.
You're not guaranteed that after school you're going to have a job. Back in your mind, you should be aware that I'm not going to finish school and that I'll be employed. You should know that outside there is still a life. You're going to struggle to get a job. So you should, on how you'll fight your mental disorder, because a lot of people are going to be having a mental disorder because they have been in school for like 6 years, 4 years, 5 years, and after that they're not going to get a job. So a lot of schools should teach on employability and more about critical thinking and entrepreneurship.
But educator David Manyolo is of a different opinion. According to him, life skills training should begin at home.
When you look at the child in the rural areas, the child is all round. The child is holistic. The child has been trained by their parents how to cook, how to wash, how to milk, and every other chores that is available across the rural setting. But when you look at the environment, the urban areas, we have a child who is just confined into a gated community. Another child who comes from the slums. So their experience for the child who is in even the slums is better placed even to deal with issues of life than a child from a gated community.
Mary Nderitu, who manages Uzuri Technical Training Institute, says that poor life skills attainment among adolescents is a concern that begins in childhood with the way children are nurtured.
First, it's how the background, where they come from, maybe they were not nurtured well, and also there are so many trending issues, especially with the youths. Yeah, so many challenges that the youths are facing, and at times it becomes so hard for them to solve their problems. As TVET institutions, we should come up with some of the courses that will help these adolescent students or people to solve their problems. A good example is life skills. We've offered life skills. It has so much on problem solving. We also have a course like TLM that will also help them in their work. Also, we have things like employability. It's also part of the problem solving. We also have critical thinking. These are some of the units that they can use to help them in problem solving.
Kindergarten teacher Mary Mutunga recommends training learners in problem solving early in their lives to equip them with lifelong psychosocial skills. Parents have also been advised to take deliberate steps to advance their children's psychosocial development.
Kama ni topic tunafundisha na mtoto apati, kuwa rafiki wa mtoto, mfundishe vizuri, leo, kesho kutu atapata. Unarudia, wiki inaisha. CBC inasaidia kwa sababu tuseme kama ni practicals. Unapea mtoto carton, ama unampea manila paper. Namwambia akate kama ni sounds, anakata sounds, kama ni parts of the body. Anachora mtoto na anatenganisha parts. Inasaidia kuelewa haraka.
Watoto wengi wako na simu. Na hiyo simu inamuaffect for the one way or the other. Challenge, yani faida za mtoto mwenye teenager ako na simu, especially that hao wako primary ama wako secondary wako na hizi simu. Faida ni kidogo sana. Lakini changamoto ndizo nyingi.
Education stakeholders have called upon the member states of the East African community to work together to develop a coherent policy for the training and development of core competencies. The government has further announced that it will integrate life skills education and assessment in the training of CBC teachers to provide students with a holistic learning experience. Muriel Adhiambo, K24, Nairobi.